Hey everybody, this one is going to be super informal. I have been watching so many YouTubers review the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion and expressing their disappointment at Gizelle Bryant, a cast member who many see as colorist. Viewers have expressed a lot of surprise and disappointment at the amount of vitriol that she seems to have for a fellow cast member, Dr. Wendy Osefo, who is a dark-skinned woman. Now, the viewers seem to be surprised because Gizelle's father, Curtis Graves, was a civil rights activist in the 1960s. It's often mentioned that he worked alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and the notion is that because of her father's history in civil rights, that Gizelle should be a better person when it comes to black women. Now, y'all know here on this channel, if you've been on this channel for a while, I question all of those men who were civil rights leaders. I don't really believe that a lot of them were really about what they say they were about. And I have to believe that perhaps Gizelle got her nasty attitude about dark-skinned black women from watching her own father. I'm going to show you this article from the Austin American that was printed in 1972 and just read some excerpts from it. The article is called "Senator Jordan's Chances for Congress Are Good." And the man who was running against Senator Barbara Jordan was Gizelle's father, who ended up losing to Barbara Jordan. And in a Texas Monthly article that was written about him after Real Housewives of Potomac started airing on Bravo, he admitted that he still didn't really have anything nice to say about Barbara Jordan. So you tell me, is it just me, or does that sound like Gizelle's attitude towards Wendy Osefo, who really just beat Gizelle at a game of words, being able to more wittingly insult Gizelle after Gizelle came for Wendy's marriage 2 seasons ago? Well, yeah, so Wendy told her off, and here we are a season later, and Gizelle is trying to ice Wendy out from cast recordings. Well, she's successfully doing that and still expressing that she doesn't like Wendy. Maybe, just maybe, Gizelle gets it from her daddy. So here is a little bit from this article. Here we go. Senator Barbara Jordan, whose record of firsts for her race is rapidly becoming legendary in Texas politics, seems certain to be the first black woman ever elected to Congress from the South. So keep in mind that Gizelle's father had some firsts of his own as well. But here we go, back to the article. But to get there, she must defeat or tolerate, according to how you measure it, challenges from 2 black men in the Democratic primary and 2 Republicans. Ms. Jordan, 36, has become the undisputed political leader of Houston blacks since she was elected to the Texas Senate in 1966. The district's 476,000 population is 42% black, 45% white, and 12% Mexican American, but the very makeup of the district itself and how it came to pass has become the top issue used against Ms. Jordan by her closest competitor, Representative Curtis Graves, that is Gizelle's father. Graves, 31, who calls Miss Jordan the Aunt Jemima of Texas politics, is given little chance of winning the Democratic Party primary race for the congressional seat, but he is giving Miss Jordan a daily irritant. And by the way, the article that the Texas Monthly wrote about him, it's called The Agitator. That's how they describe him. And is that not how you can describe Gizelle on the cast of Real Housewives of Potomac? She is an agitator. She stirs up trouble. So maybe, again, maybe, just maybe she gets it from daddy. Back to the article. He says, she traded your black Senate seat for her own seat in Congress. Graves exhorts audiences deep in the black side of Houston. He has some facts on his side. Lieutenant Governor Ben Barnes, with whom Miss Jordan has had a lasting political friendship, did draw last year's redistricting bill to ensure her a safe congressional district, and her old seat in the Texas Senate was redrawn in such a manner that most observers agree it is impossible for a black to be elected. Then Graves moves even more, stinging in his attack. Quote, redistricting was an attempt to cut down any black man from ever having any power. I say that the white man has used our women too long. Now they are using them in Congress. End quote. So it sounds like he's upset that he couldn't use Barbara Jordan. She did make some savvy political connections. She was a businesswoman. She worked her way, worked her jelly, made some friendships. She was a politician. He kind of got his political start as a protester. And it's even remarked in one of the articles that I read about him that every protester is not a politician. So he's kind of like good at being like Gizelle, running his mouth and making a scene. There's obviously more to the article, but the words of Curtis Graves sound to me like the words of a man who is bitter about being bested by a woman who could play his game better than he did. And she has the nerve to be dark-skinned on top of it. What do you think? Let me know. This article is from 1972. Gizelle was born in 1970. But it seems like he never let go of his grudge against Barbara Jordan. And if he would say that about a black woman, like say that she's Aunt Jemima, the Aunt Jemima of anything to the press, I can only imagine what he would have said behind closed doors, kitchen table talk. Let me know what you think about it. Did Gizelle get her colorist ways, as some of us see it? Did she get that from her father? Despite the fact that a lot of people say that because her father was this civil rights activist, that she ought to know better. Yeah, on this channel, we question and we look at civil rights leaders sideways with a side eye all day, every day.